Hello Internet, and welcome to this interpretation lesson slash analysis of Knocking on Heaven's Door. So, this is really an open to debate kind of video. I'm going to give you my analysis, my opinion, the results of my research, but please in the comment section give me your opinion, and if you don't agree with anything, or if you have your own interpretation and own ideas, then just share them with the community. That's what it's all about. Okay, so let's get to it. So, Knocking on Heaven's Door is one of those songs that's been around for, well, ages. So it was first recorded in the 1970s, in 73. But since then it's kind of, some people say, transcended what it was to become a song that has been interpreted and covered in so many different ways, and actually even by Bob Dylan himself, where if you have a look at some of the videos that are in the description, you'll notice that in fact Bob Dylan, when he sings it, actually adds lyrics, changes the rhythm. He really does a lot of very many different things. So it's a song that I would say is really open to interpretation. And I kind of treat it musically and in the words like you would a jazz standard. Basically meaning you have a lot of freedom with what you can do. So let's have a look at the lyrics now. So what is the song about? Well, the song actually comes from a movie. It was written for a movie. That's where Bob Dylan wrote it. And I believe it's actually written to describe what Pat Garrett, so one of the main characters of the movie, was feeling when he had to basically gun down and shoot his former comrades who were outlaws because he had just become the sheriff. And so actually, when people talk about the song, they say that it has to do with death, and well, it's knocking on heaven's door. So, you know, that is logical. But if you listen and if you look to the lyrics a bit closer, he feels like he's knocking on heaven's door. And so what I think is actually probably meant in the beginning is that it's really Pat Garrett who actually has to kill his former friends, but he's actually kind of killing himself because he used to be an outlaw as well. So that's really what I think the song is about, is to describe this tension, this feeling that Pat Garrett has, where he feels like he's knocking on heaven's door. He feels like he's dying, basically, because he's shooting and killing all these people. So he kind of identifies with the people he's killing. And that's really brought about in the movie because they start with this like that kind of thing arrives at the moment where one of the characters has just been shot, so one of Pat Garrett's former friends, and when they start saying the whole "Mama, take this badge off of me," that is actually the camera lens is focused on Pat Garrett, the sheriff. So that's really what I think it's about. So in short, it's about describing the sensation that Pat Garrett, a sheriff, has when he has to kill his former brothers, and also by doing that kill who he used to be. And that's why he feels like he's knocking on heaven's door, because he's unhappy about it, or he feels to an extent that he's killing himself. That, I think, is the original story behind the lyrics. So let's have a look at Bob Dylan's version. Right, so what I would say, actually, when you start to analyse people's versions is that, unsurprisingly, you start to see elements of their personality that crop in. So Bob Dylan's version is actually quite simple, melodically I'm talking about. It stays in a very small range. It's actually, I think the lowest note is D and it goes up to B. And so that's relatively speaking range, depending on who you are. When you shout, you kind of go higher than that. So he's not shouting, he's talking. And also the rhythm is actually complicated, but very close to talking and how a cowboy might talk. So it's kind of a drawl, you know, like, I ain't gonna talk to you, kind of. That's not how a cowboy sounds. I'm talking to you, partner, talking to me. No, I ain't gonna do that. You know, that's kind of like the drawl that that is present in the Bob Dylan kind of way. You know, the beats are a bit peculiar, and you can see that he's not a trained musician because of the way these beats land in their own little space. Actually, quite difficult for me to transcribe, so if you have a transcription of the whole Bob Dylan melody that you want to share with me so that we can compare notes, go for it, because it's really quite difficult, tricky, trying to know what he's doing, musically speaking. And also, actually, that this transcription has nothing to do, so this is based on normally on the original, with how he sings it live. He just sings it however it comes through his head. So, like, he's really going to sing it the first time, like, oh mama, come and take this badge off of me. Or he could sing it like, oh mama, take this badge off of me. Or he could sing it some other way. Normally he keeps the same chords. But he really could sing it any old way. I've actually seen him sing it with a capo. I've seen him sing it in all sorts of ways, you know, like, oh mama, come and take my badge off of me, or God knows what. So really, he does what he wants, and he can do, and he's an artist, and voila. So no real, I'd say, rigour would be the word that I'm looking for. So now let's have a look at the Guns N' Roses version. So, as you can see, the Guns N' Roses version is quite different, and one of the first things that stands out is the huge range which is put forward by Mr. Axl Rose. So it's really, I think it's almost 3 octaves. That's pretty big, because he starts singing in the same range as Bob Dylan with the back in the ground kind of area, and goes all the way to knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door, and higher than that with the knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door, and even higher. So yeah, Axl Rose likes showing his pipes. You can also see that other elements of his personality are in the song. So the fact that he goes, so plays it and then he goes whoa yeah, whoa yeah yeah, that type of stuff on the fourth beat. So if you go like knock knock knocking on heaven's door, whoa 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 yeah, and that type of stuff. Very Axl Rose like. Also, he actually plays a blues note. So the B flat that he plays on Knocking on Heaven's Door is really a blues note because it's not part of the G major scale. So that's something that's really typical of Axl Rose wanting to show that he is Axl Rose and that he knows how blues and stuff works. And then there's the whole element of Slash is solo, which is integral to the song, which is really nice. So where the Guns N' Roses, I think, sometimes get criticism from their version of Knock on Heaven's Door, and I must say I like their version, but I do understand the criticism, is that they kind of made a real big noise out of the song. I mean, when you're knocking on heaven's door and they go like... That's a hard knock. That's a bash. You're bashing on heaven's door. I think that some of the older generation don't appreciate it as much, but I think that they brought the song to the 90s, and so it was a good. I mean, I like their version, even if I do understand the criticism. When you see the evolution of the song, so "Knock on Heaven's Door" has been covered by many artists, actually, notably Bon Jovi, Eric Clapton. Also, the Guns N' Roses version has a whole load of political thing that I never really got into. I never listened to what he said when he said the rank subjugation or whatever. Maybe I should, but it's not something I didn't really get it. But what I was trying to say is that actually the Guns N' Roses have like integrated all these elements of different artists, and actually if you see Knocking on Heaven's Door, it's been covered with people who have big voices in jam sessions with Bob Dylan singing with I don't remember their names, but some famous stars from the 70s. And so that's why I think the Knocking on Heaven's Door, the Guns N' Roses, does make sense when you see the progression of the song. So that's really what I would say about their version. And so, my version. So before we talk about my version, let's talk about how I would make it your version. So there are many things you can do. You can inspire yourself consciously or unconsciously from other people. So you can think, oh, I like that chord progression, I like what he did, I like the noises he made with his guitar, I like the distortion. All those things you can say, okay, I like those elements, and actually when you're playing a cover, you're also playing to people. So you have to, I think, incorporate elements that they can sing along to, that they can recognize. Otherwise, if you get, oh, this is my cover of some song, and then people don't recognize the song, then that's not what I do, and what some jazz musicians do. And sorry, I shouldn't have said that, but it's true. So I think that you should still try and make it relatable. Where you can make it really your own is obviously with your voice, and with the elements of the song and of the folklore and the evolution of the song that you like, I would say. So, I mean, if you like the cowboy elements of Bob Dylan, then you can kind of, I don't know, give it, I don't know, some kind of little jolt, some little flavour, inspiring yourself from the cowboy elements, the Bob Dylan drawl, the, you know, that type of thing. If you really like the insane vocals, then do the insane vocals a la Axl Rose. But then make sure, I think, that you have the instrumentation to match. I don't know, I didn't want to really go that route. Maybe I will in the future. But I kind of, as I said, felt the kind of tranquil peace of knocking on heaven's door. Knocking on it, not bashing it down. So that's what I did. So my cover, as I explained, is really, you know, that is what I'm trying to push forward. And it kind of evolved. I've played it in different ways, and so it's kind of a story of its own existence, I guess. And what I would say is that I took a bit of elements of the things I liked in other artists, and then I tried to make it my own by actually singing with my own voice, whatever that means. I'll make a video actually about singing with your own voice if you want me to, because I think that's a subject that is often not so well discussed. And I'll give you my own personal experience, because I don't know whether you saw it with those interpretations, but I actually am quite a good imitator, so I can imitate voices if I want to and work on it. But it's not what I want to do. I want to sound like me, whatever that is. And sometimes sounding like you is difficult, because I speak with a British accent, so how should I interpret American song? If I went like, oh mama, take this badge from me. Well, it could work. Maybe I should do that, but I didn't really want to, because I hear American accents and it works for me in American. And if you're singing, I don't know, like Purple Haze, and you're going like, you know, doing a British accent on it, it won't work, will it? I don't know, like, Purple Haze, all in my brain. Doesn't really sound right, does it? So, I'll make a video about that if you want me to. So, my cover, what I liked was the simplicity of Knocking on Heaven's Door that Bob Dylan put forward. So that's why I simplified the rhythm at the beginning, because I wanted to let my voice go through. So, if I go, you know, oh mama, etc., but I cleaned it up. I went, oh mama, take this badge from me. Simple rhythm. And the second time with the mama, I do kind of, you know, mama put my gun to the ground, because that's a hard sentence to say and not break it up in a complicated rhythm. Actually, if I went, mama, so, oh mama, come and put my guns in the ground. Oh, that is absolutely boring. So I had to keep some of the rhythm there. But I wanted to make it simple. I wanted to make it eerie, and more, I guess, give more of a progression and integrate all the elements of the A minor, C major and A minor 7 and tell a story through them. So that's what I did. Also, I love the Slash solo, and so I wanted to give a vague, I wanted to integrate elements of that solo in my singing, but I didn't want to do it note for note. I could have learnt that, and that would have been pretty interesting. But I wanted to just find a solo that went with what I was singing. So it's a lot more simple. But I communicated what I wanted to, and it gave that solo that I wanted to. And then, so the ending, as I keep saying, sometimes when I play live, I actually just end on the C major. And that's quite interesting, because then it's kind of, if you end on the C major, it's as if you were doing G major all the time, that's your home, and basically actually your home is the C major, so you are actually passed away. But in the recording, as I say, I ended on the G, because it sounded good too. So you can really do what you want there. So I think that wraps it up. I hope I've given you some ideas and some tips on interpretation, lyrics, etc. If you have things you want to know about how to interpret, or you have your own ideas and you don't agree with what I have to say, please say so in the comments. Also, this is a new channel, so if there is anything you want me to talk about, if you want me to actually show you how to sing the melody or this type of thing, then please let me know in the comment sections. I really am just trying to develop this, and well, I need your help to really get something that is what you need. Alright, so actually that's it. If you like this channel and you like what I do, then please don't hesitate to subscribe, share and all of that stuff, and follow me on the various social media platforms. So until the next time, keep on rocking!